and apparently I'm going nowhere. Unfortunately, well, it started to rain a little earlier than expected. I thought it was going to say dry. My computer still says it's going to say dry, unfortunately. Yeah, it says it should be dry till about 2 p.m. But it's not. It's Portland. We expect that type of thing. And I guess I didn't have internet while I was out there, unfortunately. I need to figure that out. I'm not sure if it's something I did, or I'm pretty sure it's just the phone doesn't pick up internet out there. Hopefully I can get that fixed. So today I planned on going out and using my new gimbal. I might have to just use that recorded and then share it later as I do those videos. That's kind of sad. Let's see. So I didn't really have a plan for a backup, but since I have a live stream, I did mention to somebody in Discord over here. Let's see. Yeah, I had a little conversation with somebody in Discord. I'm gonna first pull up some music real quick. Ooh, I don't know. I don't want that one. Shoot. Yeah, we'll do this one.
Sometimes doo-doo goes to doo-doo, and there ain't doo-doo you can do. You just say, well, doo-doo, and let doo-doo happen to you. A song of doo-doo, pocket full of this. Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist. Doo-doo into doo-doo again, what a twist. Next week the word is gonna be poop. Substitute the S word, it's a new scoop. When life gives you doo-doo, don't you droop, just laugh it off and join the poop troop. A song of doo-doo, pocket full of piss. Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist. Doo-doo into doo-doo again, what a twist. In the land of doo-doo, we all unite. Through the stink and the mess, we see the light. With a smile on our face, we take the fight, turning doo-doo days into something bright. A song of doo-doo, pocket full of piss. Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist. Doo-doo into doo-doo again, what a twist. When doo-doo hits the fan, just take a stand. With a smile on your face and a poop in your hand. Life's a crazy ride, but we'll make it grand. In the land of doo-doo, we'll make our stand. From the bathroom to the backyard, doo-doo's everywhere, but we won't let it bring us down. We don't care, we'll dance through the doo-doo without a scare. In the doo-doo kingdom, we'll always fare. A song of doo-doo, pocket full of piss. Life's a mess, but we can't resist. Doo-doo, I'm tired, but I'll persist. Doo-doo into doo-doo again, what a twist. So when doo-doo comes knocking, don't you fret, just sing this song and don't forget. Life's full of doo-doo, but it's not over yet. We'll laugh through the doo-doo with no regret.
You might be wondering why I wrote this song. Well, the simple answer is, I didn't write this song. The people over on Blue Bar on Patrol's chat, they wrote this song. And I was inspired to share it with you guys. Hello, my name is Urzu Zyklin, and welcome to my channel. So, as I said, I had a little conversation with some people over on Discord, or with a person over on Discord, a couple people, and I'm trying to share the screen. I forgot to share the screen over here. Share screen. Entire screen, the screen, share. Okay, so the conversation, I ended up like earlier, I guess it was, we had a conversation about the First Amendment, and we ended up coming to an agreement that, you know, there shouldn't be a block on the First Amendment in public, such as sidewalks and whatnot, which is what I initially planned to do today, was go down and show you guys a nice little bike park. But unfortunately, as I said before, I didn't have internet access. But I was having this conversation and I mentioned, oh, where was it? That I had because I always get tagged as, oh, you're just trying to support Trump. And I mean, yeah, I don't like Trump, but I have, when it came down to when he got shot, I had some very harsh words about what I didn't expect. There it goes. And so after we were all starting to get along and agree, it didn't start out that way, but eventually we all started agreeing with each other. And I said, I've been waiting to bring back an old live stream that has been lost in the ether. Well, it was two lives about Trump attempted unaliving. I had harsh words about trying to control the election in this manner. That they were not just wanting to end a campaign, but I meant to say, I put you, were robbing the people of a fundamental right. I clearly don't support the man, but I was outraged. And the person later said that they would love to watch it if I ever display it. Now, I'm going to comment to that person because that's what we're going to watch today. Well, I didn't capitalize the I, but whatever. So as I said, originally, these are both the same video. I didn't want both the same video. Remove from studio. Let's see which one this one is. Just moments before I hit the go live button. Oops. Let's get a little forward. There we go. On what they want. Have you ever noticed that the only thing that ever goes to a public vote is something that they don't? I gotta figure out which one this one is. Oh, this was the roof one. I think this is not the one I want. So we'll go with the other one first. As I said, I was planning initially something entirely different. I was planning on taking you guys for a walk with my new camera. Or, well, my new gimbal. Oh, shoot. That was in... Yes, sir. I think Before the Blood Dries was the one I was looking for. Testing 3-3, testing 33. I'm actually doing a real audio check this time because I changed something. Boring. Watching my old videos. Oh, we gotta get past that. Let's see. Hello, my name is Zerzu Cyclin, and welcome to my channel. I changed up some audio, and I guess unfortunately during my microphone check, I found out my audio wasn't working right, so I had to change it back real quick. I think I got that working now. You know, today I would like to start off by doing something that none of the people I am covering today Sirloin actually did. You know, show a very clear sign that you're thinking about the fact an American family right now is mourning the loss of a loved one. That's right. A man at that rally lost his life. And that's something we should really think about. That, and there were people that were wounded at that rally. Those people, I also wish that they have a speedy recovery. Now, on this subject of the shooting, this is a tragic event. I don't really think that it's good, or I really think it's bad. But as far as people that are cheering that this thing happened, and that it's going to boast him to presidency, it very well could, but it's definitely not a good thing. You know, if you think about it, part of our democracy was lost. Now, I don't necessarily support Trump, and I don't necessarily support Biden. You could pretty much ask Tom if you want. He'll tell you that I've probably said a few negative things about Biden. I also constantly say negative things about Trump. Now, when it comes down to voting, I don't necessarily care if it's an R or a D. At least during the first voting, the general election, or I think that's the primary election. But anyway, I don't really care if the person has an R or a D. What I think about is, do their ideas strike me in a way that make me want to vote for them? Now, if I don't know anything about a candidate, I don't put a mark there. However, with this recent shooting thing, oh, by the way, Donald Trump himself has not necessarily mentioned the American family who is mourning the loss of a loved one. Strangely enough, neither of these people.
But hello,
Now,
Cardi
I learned
Blanche.
about this first character through MSG Retired. I watch him because, he points out these people who do stolen valor and whatnot. I believe this guy does have some military background, so I'm not really going to comment on his stolen valor, but he recently went on and I was talking about generally specific. I guess apparently he does have some military background. I don't know really. I don't know of his claims either. I know that I believe I saw on his DD-214 overseas. So whatever he did overseas, all of the parts of the machine work as one. And I hope I said hello, Cardi Bunch. But yeah, I mentioned to somebody over in Discord that I had some, harsh words against the action that day. And I wanted to share it because basically it got lost in the ether. It's only over on my Rumble channel. So I moved it over here. Channel I know of called Matters Now. And I like that channel, but he seemed to... No. See, now that sometimes is when you surround yourself around somebody that you don't know anything about. And now, Matters Now, I don't believe he ever went into any detail about court or anything like that. All of a sudden, it was just dropped on your lap that, oh, he went and picked up a little girl in another country and got in trouble for it or wanted to. Wow. And immediately, everybody removed themselves. Now, I had a conversation earlier similar to this. It's coming up in a couple of days, I believe. So he went completely off topic. I'll be covering that later. And he seems to not think that he's a flat earther, but yet at the same time, he mimics a lot of what the flat earthers say, such as the firmament and why did we think that the earth was round a long time or flat a long time ago? And oh yeah, spaceships and helium. Anyway, that's going to be fun. I kind of want to go up and talk to this guy, and I probably will, just for, some fun. We'll have an interesting conversation. I'm not going to really push him too hard. Now, oddly enough, I also watched this guy on another channel, which I don't know if I support or not support. And primary reason is everybody that he covers is gay in some way. Hello, Sirloin. How are you doing? But I watch him because he also covers people who are horrible people that need to be exposed, such as like Frauditer Wrangler and, that type of crowd. So, I let a lot of the gay comments go by the wayside. And, you know, I don't want to say it's fine, because it is kind of strange that every single male that he covers supposedly is gay. But these guys, they have kind of a weird relationship. One will watch the video of the other person, and then that person will stream snipe them, and then later the person who originally watched the video would stream snipe that person, stream sniping them. And then later, I guess they'll comment on it, so it'll be like that person stream sniping that person, stream sniping that person, stream sniping. And it's weird because they're having like conversations with each other, but they're both on their respective channels, you know, in their own little security field there where they can't be harmed. But they're talking to okay. At this point, guys, just go up on one channel or the other and have a conversation if you guys want. I mean, this stream snipe thing is a little ridiculous when it turns into like layers of stream snipes on top of stream snipes. I don't understand how people watch it, but you know, some people find it interesting. A lot of people like drama. Well, immediately after the shooting, you know, the nutballs started coming out with their conspiracy theories. Here we go.
Due to the seriousness of this show, we're not going to be doing any kind of like generally specific
By the way, hello, Sirloin.
Out of respect for the fallen. It is July 13th, 2024. The hour is 9:01
just before
PM.
He starts pretending it didn't happen. And to me, that's the part that I find offensive. Is it was just like said as if it was nothing. Oh, they're out of respect for the fallen, and then on with the bullshit.
We just recently found out that the president was shot. As the thumbnail said, false flag question.
I wonder if this was the edited version. I should make sure this was the edited version before I pull all of it up, because I don't want to watch all of his nonsense, if you know what I mean. Video file. This one here. Let's make sure we'll go ahead and pull this one down, and we'll start this one instead.
Due to the seriousness of this show, we're not going to be doing any kind of like generally specific intro or anything like that.
Okay, it was the edited one.
It is July 13th, 2024. The hour is 9:01 PM. We just recently found out that the president was shot. As the thumbnail said, false flag question mark. What's next? So we're going to get into this a little bit. I'd like to introduce D-Doc is going to be basically running the show, and I'll be providing some kind of color commentary, as it were.
Okay, now what exactly about this in the initial hours said false flag? I don't think anything. It looked to me like a very tragic event, and it was immediately known that the situation had been taken care of. Immediately known.
But he's the fact finder. He's shaking his head no.
Let me correct that. There were a few moments there that I was like, you know, did they catch him? What the heck? But it was shortly made known that the suspect was down, because right there on the podium there, you can hear the Secret Service agent repeatedly say he's down. So I mean, we knew that had happened.
Oh, but he's definitely instrumental. So is this the first thing that we're putting up?
If you would please, sir. Peace and respect to you all. So for those who don't know or can't tell by the title, there was an attempt on the life of the ex-president and running for the office again, Donald Trump. It was a failed attempt. And we're going to get into it and try to bring everybody up to date to the most minute by minute report that's going on right now. Okay, so first,
he's looking at the wrong part of the field.
I thought it would be wise that you guys understand what exactly we're looking at here as where the event happened. Okay, so if everyone can see my cursor, here we are in the field.
I forgot how stupid
we're going to see this building here, and you're going to see this building here, and this building here in the video we're about to watch. One witness, I think, incorrectly believed that the shooter was positioned in the water tower. That's positioned here. Later reports said that's incorrect. He was on a rooftop. That rooftop would have to be in this area, these rooftops over here.
You know, it's funny when you run with information that you've heard from somewhere and you're not exactly sure where, and you seem to think it's right. That area right there is not the area in which the venue was, and it doesn't show at all where the shooter was. If you notice the field over here that's been, I guess, freshly plowed, I'm not exactly sure what's the deal with this field, but there's looks like fresh orange clay exposed, and that is in an image which was taken from Google Earth, which is right here. If you notice that image, hello, Dr. Nimrod, how are you doing? Doesn't this look more like the 3 buildings lined up with the shed and the multi-story building behind it? Looks like a parking lot right there. If you notice that image, that plowed field is not as well plowed. It's off to the left of the screen. That plowed field is not as well plowed as I totally forgot how buildings stupid that were was. Nowhere near the front of the venue. That field wasn't necessarily included. I mean, I'm sure there was probably something that happened in that field in conjunction with this venue. And this here is the actual image you should be showing of where the venue was. There's the square where the crowd was. And there's now there was crowd in front, of course, and there's the place where the shooter was, which is roughly 150 yards. It says 148 yards there, but I've heard some reports that it was 150 yards. So why are you showing the wrong location? And you're supposed to be the one that was supposed to keep the facts, and you're showing the wrong location as the place that the shooter might have been. This is the true location of where the shooter was and where the venue was. It was the field adjacent to that field. Now, one thing I did notice is there is a small tree line there. Hello, Nightwolf, Bob, how are you doing? Good to see you over there on Rumble, helping me out a little bit. And what's Dr. Nimrod saying here? Yeah, it's not a hard target to hit at all. From what I hear, at least Tom mentioned to me that he was a pretty horrible shot, you know, which I guess it's pretty good, because we don't want a situation, no matter how you feel about Donald Trump. Let's say you absolutely hate Donald Trump. You think he's the worst piece of garbage on the earth, which, you know, you wouldn't be wrong. But, and you definitely don't want that man as president. You also don't want that man to be the victim of an assassination. And the reason why I say this is the result is not going to be what you think. It's not going to be, oh, well, I guess there's no more voting for him. We'll just carry on. Immediately, the Republican Party would be calling for a special election where they can slide somebody in, you know, and I hate to say the word slide, because I guess you would have to find somebody to put in the place of the Republican nominee. And I believe that the same wackadoodles who were, and then some, who were charged by the 6th protest would most certainly recreate such an event, or maybe even worse. I wonder if the loss of Donald Trump right now in this situation would it have sparked a civil war between the cray-crays, who he keeps as his support base, and, you know, normals who, vote either way, Donald Trump or Biden. I mean, with this situation, it's not like you have a great choice of characters. We're kind of like given. It's pretty much, do you want cheese on it or do you not want cheese on it?
Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit of speculating here. This is just me speculating, providing color, I guess, as it were. And Richard will bring me back down to orbit with facts, and but we're gonna play this out. So the interesting thing is, as she's saying, how could this possibly have happened with as tight as the security is? So, well, when people ask questions such as "How could this have happened?" and
That's
give
funny.
me a plethora of reasons why it shouldn't happen, usually. Usually Hanlon's razor don't attribute malice to which could be explained by stupidity. Now, incompetence could be part of it, but the malice was definitely that there was a sniper.
Wow, this guy's a genius. Oh yeah, there's stupidity versus malice. The malice would be that there's a sniper, but he's going to try to quickly change that into that being the malice of the Secret Service. Now, if you ask me, I believe that the Secret Service performed very poorly. Very, very poorly. If I was to grade them, I would give them a big F minus, plus minus F. I don't know if that's a grade, but we'll go with that.
So we can attribute to malice and not to stupidity the fact that there was a gap in the security. Was it allowed to happen? Was it part of the narrative? Was it an oversight?
Narrative?
I mean, these guys have been doing this for a long, long time. They probably went out days in advance, checked any possible place that a sniper could be positioned, and you would think that they would have eyes on it. So I'm thinking to myself, unless they took this guy out with a counter sniper shot, I find it hard to believe that, Secret Service guys with 380 Smith & Wesson 380s were able to take out a sniper from an elevated platform.
I forget why I put Donald
right
Trump
there.
Oh, he stopped it.
He's getting ready. He's going to turn back that way again.
Good thing he does.
Yeah, because otherwise it would have went right through his melon. Right there is where he turns. Here's where right there. Hear how he kind of does that?
See the shoulder come up? I see it.
Yeah, that sounded like a sound.
Yeah, just before this, the part where I cut out and I forgot to, speak in over it. Just before this, he mentions how Donald Trump may have cut his own ear, and it was pretty stupid. So this is him trying to figure out if Donald Trump reacted to a sound and then cut his own ear and then dropped, which that I don't believe happened at all. I believe the man. I mean, why is it that every little bitty thing in our society, it doesn't matter how these people, they refuse to accept reality. If it makes them uncomfortable in any way, they refuse to accept it. A volcano erupts. Oh no, it didn't happen. It's the deep state. A fire burns down almost an entire town. Oh no, it didn't happen. That's the deep state lying to you. I mean, these schools have people do inappropriate things, with weapons there, and I had to try to find a way to say that YouTube don't boop me, but every one of them, it's like every single little bad thing that happens in this world. I think I was stuttering a lot that day, primarily because we had lost part of our nation, I believe, or maybe I just stutter all the time. Must be a big fakery. Sorry guys, but this world is a pretty cruel place.
That could be this.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right. I don't think there was a reaction to the sound at all. I think he
was doing one of his expressions
because he got winged. Yeah, I think you're right, man. I think you're right. All right. Let's go ahead and play it at normal speed and listen to the commentary.
Because people are going to look at this and say, "Oh, it was a false flag. It was all a show. He didn't actually get shot at." People are going to say that stuff. You know that, right?
And listening to your old videos is
well. See, the question for me is like when I said false.
No, on that comment, yeah, I would have to say that. I mean, that's a weird word to use, but I would have to say that it would strengthen his presidency, and I would have to say, you know, because of the fist pump in itself, that's a good sign, you know, that you're behind the supporters. But I don't believe that either. I believe it's a great sign of a good salesman selling his pitch, and I'll explain that in a little bit, because there was something that he was worried about a lot more than you or me.
Flag, I think it was meaning, when I say false flag, I actually mean our government is behind trying to kill a former president and blaming it on some psycho.
Is it really that hard to believe? I mean, okay, is it that hard to believe that some psycho acted upon whatever emotions or whatever beliefs or whatever ideology that they followed? Now, it turns out that the person was a Republican, and his parents were also Republicans. The person who owned the gun that he used was a Republican. But, you know, how is it that you just automatically, I mean, the blood at this time, it was the day after the shooting, the blood hadn't even dried yet before you started going on to weird conspiracy theories without any foundational proof whatsoever. I don't know if he has a son. I believe he's mentioned his kid, but I don't think son. I don't know. Ask him.
Well, so that's the question for me, is like, unless they have counter sniper positions, which no one said it sounded like it was a counter sniper that took him out. I mean, with those little tiny freaking pea shooters, dude, how are you going to get rapid, accurate fire on an elevated platform?
Well, yeah, it definitely does lead to conspiracy theories, you know,
without having eyes on that elevated platform. And if you had eyes on that elevated platform, how the fuck did you miss someone crawling around to get in position to do that in the first place?
Because they're pitched roofs.
Unless it was an inside job.
Yeah, like that sniper right there. I'm sorry, I was reading, you know, that, but that sniper right there, that's exactly how they took out that person on the roof. If you don't ask stupid questions and you try to find out information, you'll find out that they did have counter snipers on the roof. And I did notice from where the roof was on the other side, a slight tree line. There's a chance that that person wasn't noticed. And as far as how they weren't noticed, it was a huge failure. It was a huge failure by the Secret Service. I will tell you that absolutely. And the reason why is there should have been some sort of eyes on any building. And it turns out there was supposed to be on 3 windows in the back, but I guess they were down getting coffee or something. That could have possibly been in the area. And I'm talking like 180 or 150 feet. That building should have been checked and had eyes on it. It didn't for whatever reason. I would have to say that, you know, one good argument would be Donald Trump supposedly is loved in that Republican state of Pennsylvania. And he is around supporters that absolutely love him. And I believe that, I hate to say it, but I think the Secret Service kind of laxed up a little bit because they had no indication or no belief that in that state, Donald Trump would be the victim of an attempted assassination. And I would argue that, like, if it was a state like Portland, Oregon, oh yeah, you best bet they're going to be on top guard, because you know there's some dem out there that's ready to take a pop, you know.
saying is
roofs. He could have crawled up the opposite side of the roof and not been seen.
Yes, but listen, man, a cordon
until he crested.
But listen, there's a cordon, bro. Their job is to understand where every possible vector of attack could or should be.
I would agree.
It's not their first freaking days on the job, especially not with Donald Trump. So to me, this says that there was a purposeful lapse in the security in one part, and they knew there was going to be a lapse, and they were going to know that there was going to be someone that was going to quote unquote look the other way for a certain amount of time, maybe have some plausible deniability. This was allowed to be perpetrated. There is no
it's not impossible
fucking way that this would have happened without there being prior planning. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, you see there, he's trying to immediately lean towards a conspiracy theory that somebody must have allowed this kid up there to take those shots. Hello, Nakoti. As I mentioned before to everybody, that we're watching an old video because I had a conversation saying that I wanted to point out that I had, negative words towards the shooter or this type of actions. I don't see that. I just see a horrible lapse in the Secret Service's ability to protect the President of the United States, and maybe that should get looked into. Not maybe, that should definitely
and they
get
did
looked into, that they should protect the president and the campaigning members. This type of failure should not happen in our day and age with the technologies that we have. It just shouldn't happen.
Here's a good question. If anyone out there's more on the sound, like type of things, like sound engineers and stuff, anyone out there look more into the timing of the gunshots and like the reverb and all that stuff? Like, I know there's probably some way just from the audio that someone could kind of, differentiate how far the shooter may have been from the shots,
Well,
so that could maybe give you an idea.
Hey, I know. How about you look up the information and you'll find out exactly how far the shot is without having to analyze audio of the bullets to find out how far it is. All you have to do is find out where the body was and where the crowd was, and wow, you just grab a tape measure and yeah, I did that, and I'm sorry for answering for Cardi Blanche. I don't know if Cardi Blanche's in it, but I most certainly love them. The frog videos were great. Anybody, if you guys go into the comment on my last video, you'll find where Nakoti posted some frog stuff. Voila. Where were the penguins? Yeah, sometimes, people should just not speak. It hurts the brain. It seriously hurts the brain.
So that's what I'm saying. To me, if it were a semi-automatic, like Richard is saying, it sounded like. I have not heard it extensively over and over again. I haven't studied it. To me, that's one trigger pull, one bullet, right? I don't think that's bolt action at all.
Too fast. I mean, unless he was really awesome.
That's an AR platform. That's an M16 platform. That's an M4 platform carbine with some kind of a scope. That's what that is to me. That says, like Rabbit said, a deliberate, controlled breathing, plotted out.
And if you watch earlier in the stream, you'll hear where I made mention to the person who passed and the people that were injured, which was something nobody was doing.
Trying to get a tight shot group. But so they must have been still shooting at him while he was on the ground in order to try to okay, and they're just, I wonder if any of these Secret Service got hit. That's the only part that doesn't make sense to me. He got nicked on the ear. Now, some might say, did he have a razor on his hand? Did he cut his own ear? Right?
Living in an Amish paradise.
Does he get up and do the fist thing? Like Richard says, some might say this is a false flag, that he's just doing this to try to, but then how do you explain to people dying?
Anyway, so they spent like 5 hours basically looking at that same video and coming up with as many conspiracy theories as they can. Now, I plan on going up and talking to him, but I don't plan on talking to him about this subject. I want to hear about his interesting ideas of my beak's not working, by the way. I want to hear about his interesting ideas of how spaceships are made of helium. You know, I'd like to know some more about that, or the fact that I guess a long time ago we thought the Earth was flat. And he mentions, I believe it's Galileo. So we have a time that he believes, I guess, that the Earth was flat, that it was all of a sudden turned around. And yeah, the owl's talking. He's helping me out, but the bird there the penguin kind of gave up. So, you know, he has some, you know, intriguing ideas that I would like to ask him about. And I believe he believes in a firmament. And I might actually, you know, dive further into the firmament idea with him. Oh, do you know the lore behind the owl? It's the Overwatch lords. They watch at nighttime when the penguins can't watch. Man, that goes way back. Because he seems to be, you know, pretty Christian. He seems to claim to be pretty Christian. So I think that would be the appropriate time to maybe read the first page of Genesis and see what it says about a firmament. So let's look at this. Remember I said that I was going to point out that there was something that was more important to Donald Trump than you and me, and that fist pump was a secondary thought, not necessarily. He didn't just pop up when the Secret Service got him up and pump his fist and in anger at the shooter or the people against him or whatever. No, it was kind of a secondary thought, more like a sales thought. There was something that was more important to this man than all of us. That's for sure. I'm pretty sure all that was basically what roasted that computer. Why do they always scream? I don't get it. What is screaming going to do to help?
Move to spare. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Move. Go.
Where's my shoes? They're gonna see my cankles. Where's my shoes?
Ready? Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. We're clear.
Now, the first thing I would like to point out is that he can't just jump up. The Secret Service, I'm sure, would be telling him to stay down, but they didn't have to tell him to stay down because he did stay down, which I don't blame the man. Somebody was just popping off shots at me. I might stay behind that wall, which I would guess would be a security barrier of either metal or Kevlar. That's just a guess. Hello, Yins. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm with you. I understand it, but so like I saw these chicks, and there was a Max train that was coming down the tracks, and he clearly wasn't moving fast enough to hit them, but he was edging at them, kind of giving them a little hard time because they were stuck on the tracks. And these chicks, man, they didn't think about going forward, backwards, any direction. They just sat there with their hands in the air like they were riding a roller coaster, screaming at the top of their lungs. Wouldn't you hate that to be the last moments of your life? You know what? I got to make a little bit of a correction to that. He wasn't only just nudging forward. He was blaring his horn as loud as he could, and these chicks were screaming louder than the horn. You know, just saying. But yeah, I mean, I get it that he stayed down, but when he got up, did he immediately? Because that's what I keep hearing on some circles, is that the moment he got up, he pumped his fist because of, you know, he's so supporting of the people. Well, we're getting there.
Let me get my shoes.
Let me get my shoes.
Let me get my shoes. Hold on.
Let me get my shoes.
So we gotta move
My cankles. My cankles. Is he pumping his fist yet? Let me get my shoes.
Watch out.
Shoes first, America second. That's a chat from the prior video. Oh, was it? Yeah, I remember. I guess it was 4 blonde girls, not just 2. But that was some of the funniest. I mean, that was, if you had a camera, if you just had a camera, you know. So where'd this other guy go? Let's make sure it's all files. So I'm looking at all files. Now we have this other guy. Of course, he decided he was going to go on this conspiracy train. Now, what I find odd about these people is they almost seem like they're happy that this event could happen so that they have subject or content. Now, one thing you'll find about these people, now this guy, he's definitely one of those doctor me up conspiracy theories. He doctors up his information to sound like it's actually, you know, something worthy. Let me skip past the little intro stupid music. Oh, don't tell me that's the same stupid video. Hey, guess what? I think that's the same stupid video. Okay.
Hey, I did that today.
La-di-da, la-di-da. Remove from studio. Remove from studio. Yeah, of course, you know, it can't happen perfectly.
No, as far as all the people just standing, yeah, I mean, you think that everybody's just going to drop. I don't know. Sometimes that's not the reaction that happens. People are sometimes, so there's a fight, or freeze, I think it is. I can't remember, but yeah, basically, sometimes people just freeze. And, you know, if it's an entire crowd, it might be a lot of people that just freeze.
Shoes are so important. That's pretty good. So let's see all files.
That and the absolute disbelief that what they're watching is what's really happening. That might.
Oh, it's this one. Yep. Sorry. I should probably just go ahead and open up all 3 of these.
I still can't,
because I will probably use them throughout. Hello, ATV Films. How are you doing? Videos, all files. This one is good. And now we'll find the last one. I'm sorry, I had it open, but I messed it up. I accidentally pulled up the wrong video, which, whatever, I'm a dummy. I think I've told you guys that before. And this video. There we go.
Make a sound bite of that.
Make America wear shoes again. That's funny.
Cankles.
I don't know how his shoes got off. Maybe it's I don't know. Maybe he feels more comfortable speaking with his shoes off, or maybe when the
you never noticed the little flat earth next to the
Glober to the ground, they knocked his shoes off. I'm not sure.
That's funny,
you know. But he was definitely interested in those shoes. That's for sure.
There was so much stuff to look at back there.
This ding dong.
Always want you to think.
Now this guy, first off,
and then I wonder
what's
why.
Up? Okay, I don't like to make fun of people's looks. It's not something that I normally do. But what's up with those Yoda ears? It's like it's almost like he's a combination of like the Shrek
and Yoda. He's got Yoda ears and Shrek's face. It's really strange. And that haircut. You know what that haircut is? That's when you go and pay $10 for a haircut. The barber messes up and they decide, oh, well, we'll just go ahead and cut a line here to make it look like it was intentional. Anyway, so he's going to show this video of this kid that he's, I guess, speculating is not.
I could probably recreate.
He's a plant.
Similar.
That's right. He's a plant. And that's one thing I've noticed. Oh yeah, the sensor is probably going crazy. But that's one thing I've noticed is that, you know, that these people are immediately coming up with out of the thin air without any evidence whatsoever that it must be a conspiracy. And one thing I've noticed about channels like this guy's channel, he intentionally doctors things. He leaves certain things out so that you don't see them, if you know what I mean.
About the person who attempted or successfully assassinated someone they were after. Lone gunman. That is always what they are after. And in their propaganda outlet, where they're interviewing some guy that magically fell out of the sky and knows this guy from high school, listen to how he prompted this question and then listen to this kid's answer.
He said it was.
Now, pay attention to that. He said that this guy magically fell out of the sky. Of course, he doesn't know where the guy could have come from. Not at all. You know, I'm talking about the guy who posting this video right now has no clue where this kid may have come from. Notice the sarcasm in my voice.
A loner? Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was
definitely a loner. Definitely a lone gunman. Obviously, we know what the topic here is, but we're going to talk about the details.
I mean, yeah, there was one gunman that they suspected it, and one gunman who is no longer with us. I don't know what did you think that it. So here's how people get in trouble. They go, let's use a scenario here. There's somebody that needs a, you know, offer spouse, and she goes and she tries to find a couple of people who will do it for her. Now there's people who are talking, you know, that they decided not to help her, and now they have information about her trying to, you know, do a bad thing. So they're talking, and they go and rat her out to the cops, or one of them does. And then next thing you know, the third person she meets is, oh, it's so easy to get it all set up and ready to go. That's how people get in trouble. So if you're trying to do something like this, I'm not trying to make a playbook or anything like that. You're not going to want to communicate with anybody. And as far as a loner, yeah, that's typically the profile of people that do things like this. They're not necessarily
in
an accepted position. You know, they're usually outskirts. They're usually loners. They're usually people who, well, you know, they're in order to do this, you have to have some sort of mental break, and people recognize that and avoid such mental breaks.
Surrounding this incident that do not line up, because there are a lot. There's also a new video out that is so suspicious to me. I don't even know how to properly verbalize. I'm gonna have to show it to you guys because it does not make sense, and it absolutely, to me, looks like conspiracy cover-up.
Everything looks to him like conspiracy cover-up. If you went over to his channel, you'll see what I'm saying. But what I find funny is he puts up this ginormous subscribe button over and over and over again throughout this video. What's important to him? I'll tell you what's important to him. This is the best thing that could have possibly ever happened to him. So he has more content to put on his channel. That's what's important.
This is a thing to make you think a thing, but this is not real. And we're going to talk about that. You got to be very cautious about how you talk about those things. But I'm just going to tell you, my spidey sense is screaming at me when I watch this video.
Spidey sense. There's a reason why I'm laughing about Spidey sense.
video, okay? And so also I want to show you guys the setup, where the shooter was, where the stage was, and explain to me exactly how anyone could have gotten onto that roof and taken that shot. Riddle me that. And then we're going to look at some other things that just seem very notable, like Nancy.
Riddle me that. This guy's got like a cartoon affliction or something. Anyway, he's totally stuck on him. He's all talking about, you know, comic books. I mean, he's lost in La La Land. And that's one thing I've noticed about as you watch his channel. He constantly talks like that. And he reminds me of Sovereign Soul a lot, like a young, well, of course, Sovereign Soul probably never looked like this guy. But anyway, he reminds me of a Sovereign Soul, which everything links to somehow to a movie or some sort of plot. Now, he's going to try to tell you that this kid just randomly fell out of the sky. And the video well, have you seen them? They're half their head is covered with the hat. Half their head would be gone. So I don't think that would be good, man. And look, like his whole shirt, if it was gone, then his arms would just fall down and his head would, well, you know, used. It wasn't that hard to find the video. It's right here. Let's see what it says right in the beginning of that video.
There's a large media presence here. You've had members of the community come and approach us, including one person who said he actually went to high school with this suspected shooter. I want you to listen to a little bit of our conversation there.
He said that we were approached by a lot of people, including a young man who claims to have known the shooter. I mean, he didn't show that part. It's the same video. It's the exact same video that he's opining about. By the way, I said opine because I guess Generally Specific loves to use the word opine for some reason. So I decided to use that word. But I mean, this is the same exact video he played, but yet he left out the part where it clearly is described exactly where the person magically appeared from, as he said. He's clearly trying to play this off as some sort of conspiracy, and he's trying to doctor the evidence in order to show it as a conspiracy. Now, one thing you'll hear is that this kid was mixed up in an ad by but Bubblegum Boy back there bounces around and blinks. Shoot, I don't want to say Blackwater because it's not Blackwater. Anyway, it's Blackbrook. It'll show you in the ad, but he wasn't necessarily like this guy suggests in one of his other videos that this guy was working for them. He was in an ad. They were an advertising company. Of course, if they make a lot of money, being that they are the top advertising company in the world right now, they're bad. They're evil. They're part of the dark cabal.
I teach AP and honors economics in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
What was I going to say? Oh, this what's on the screens is my very first 4 copyright strikes that I won.
Pennsylvania. Financial well-being to me is knowing that I can be free to do the things that I love to do.
BlackRock. See, it's right there on the screen.
I hope when I retire someday, they say that guy made this place a special place to come to school and gave it.
And there he was. I missed him. It was right about shoot, right there. There he is. Now, it wasn't like the guy was working for them. He showed up in the commercial as a student. Big deal, you know. It is kind of weird that he was in that commercial, but I don't think it shows government cover up or anything like that. I don't know. I've never heard of him.
Tweet. And if you follow our other channel, Play with Matches with Gabby and Jesse, which is Gabrielle and my channel, I'm very worried for him, though. because these guys are not going to stop here, because now he really can't lose the election. There's no scenario here where they're going to be able to play a mail-in voting, you know.
So I was asked today, you know, I guess it was more of a statement that because I don't get many viewers, I'm happy with whatever viewers I get. Well, yes, I'm absolutely happy with all of my viewers, and I most certainly know most of them by name, except for this, you know, aside from the ones that watch and don't comment.
Oh yeah, you know.
But yeah, I'm glad everybody comes. I would hope that a YouTuber feels that way about their viewers.
Because this is over. You have to convince the public that the majority of people agree with the thing you're going to say is happening. And good luck with that now.
But as far as Blackwater owning, you know, I do have to agree that this does help strengthen his run for presidency. But, you know, the elections are a little weird. He could still, he could still lose. You know, there's no telling what happens in the polls until they're done, you know, and until the votes come in. Don't count your eggs until your chickens are hatched, you know? Yeah, that messed up that old, but you get it.
Every single secret supporter of Donald Trump is out in the open now. No one's afraid anymore. It's insane that people were, I mean, but I understand it. I do. I completely understand. We're gonna talk more about that, but we're gonna start, you know, let's start with like a diagram here, okay? So let's just look at the, look at this just as a starting point, and this is not the video that I'm referencing, because we're definitely going to look at that, and I'll tell you exactly what I mean in terms of this doesn't add up, but this doesn't add up either. Okay.
There's that tree line.
So here's the rooftop, supporters over here. If you go onto the left side, the roof on the far left, that's where the guy took the shot from. How on earth could there have possibly been a person on that roof with a direct line of sight at the president standing on a stage if you have Secret Service there?
I don't know. They failed. That's what happened. They failed. How did it happen? I don't know, but it definitely happened. I did end up finding out of the man. See, the Secret Service was, and here's other parts of the failure. They were warned about 10 seconds before the shots rang out. They were warned that there was a man proning on the roof, and somebody took a picture. So there's a clear image of a man proning on the roof with his dad's rifle, prepared to do the bad, you know? And yeah, that's in the second video. There were supposed to be, in that higher building, there were supposed to be 3 windows with a sniper team that would have had a clear view of that roof. But instead, the I believe it was north-south was the directions opposite of what the president was facing beside him. And the first building was blocked by trees. The second building was the one that took the shot. And the Secret Service that were planned to be in the window were nowhere to be found. And that's in the second video here. As far as how he got there, there's a lot of buildings packed over there. I could see him slipping up without being seen. And why was he not seen? It's one of those situations where I believe the Secret Service failed and failed miserably. And I do believe that they got comfortable because they believed that Donald Trump was in his little stronghold of voters, and that he had really no risk of harm. Now, I think that was a blunder, an absolute blunder, obviously. And I think it's fortunate that, of course, the man isn't dead. You know, that's just simple as that. I don't think that would be bad that would be just as bad for our country as I believe that this situation is. You know, it would be worse in general. I do believe the kooky dudes would come out and try to destroy our country. I just believe that.
Explain that to me. How is that possible? How many Secret Service agents are there? So what are they doing? Like, okay, how many agents do you have? Now, I personally have seen Trump's motorcade, like right next to us. When we went to UFC 287, I was with Mike McDaniel, the Dolphins coach, and they held us up at the gate. And they were like, you're going to have to wait for a little while, sir.
Those would be interesting. I would love to see both, because there is a little bit of a tree line there, but it's very broken. It's very broken. I would love to see the vantage point from that roof, which is over there on the left, by the way, the little crop of buildings. There's a parking lot and then a very bright white roofed thing, and then several little modular like buildings. He was on top of the corner one of those. So I would like to see, that would be interesting, the vantage point he had. And not only that, the vantage point. Now, I believe that whitest roof on the red barn in the middle of the screen, I believe that's the image I have of the sniper's location, the counter sniper's location. So it would also be neat to see their vantage point. And I do believe they should have probably, I'm not arguing that the Secret Service should not have seen this van and they should not have responded to the threat. But, failures happen. And I'm not trying to give them a pat. I think it was horrible. A horrible, horrible failure. The Secret Service has one job. Let me make that argument. The Secret Service has one job. Does anybody know what the Secret Service's job is? I'll answer that question. The Secret Service's job is to protect the life of the President of the United States of America. That's their only duty. That's their only task. To make sure.
Well, I meant there at that event,
which is an extremely strange way to get a piercing. I'm just going to throw that out there. There are a lot easier ways to get a piercing. You want to be with the hip crowd, I understand it, but there are a lot better ways to get a piercing.
And I said in the car, I was like, who's a bigger deal in Miami than Mike McDaniel? And they're like, Secret Service motorcade. And we're like, oh, Ron DeSantis? And we're like, Trump? Dude, he had literally a caravan of SUVs. Absolutely unbelievable number of people. Okay, how are you allocating those resources if a rooftop, there's only how many rooftops here, does not get an agent on there? How is that? There's incompetence, and then there's, dude, this is.
No, that's the Treasury. And maybe Federal Protective Services, which isn't the Secret Service. The Secret Service is meant to protect the president. That's their job.
I don't need to have tactical background to know that, okay? I have no military background at all. None. I've shot a lot of guns. That has no bearing on the conversation here at all. If I know that step one of protecting the president is going to be find elevated positions and make sure that no one can be in or on one of them.
Okay, Tom's popping me on the shoulder and telling me they also go after counterfeit bills or whatever.
How? Okay, 150 yards away, dude.
Okay. I pulled. So on this day, they only had one job.
Again, I am not some elite tactician or elite shooter. I could
Anyway, this guy rambles on like chili. I'm going to see. Let's skip forward. He plays that video a couple of times. He mentions Nancy Pelosi. Now, when he brings up Nancy Pelosi, I find one thing weird is he does kind of go after the female politicians more than the male politicians. I think he's a sexist. But when he brings up Nancy Pelosi, he kind of makes a huge deal about what her tweet was supposed to mean. And then he shows the tweet, but he only shows the tweet for a minute before he cuts off what he was saying in the tweet in order to, say whatever his nonsense is. Where in the heck is this? Darn it. I really didn't want to hear him ramble about himself. Let's see where we are. Oh, come on. All you got to do is play. Just all you got to do is roll the video. Roll the darn video.
From the deep state, what they want you to believe, not what's necessarily true. And in most cases, it's not. Okay? And so it's MSNBC that finds this kid. Oh, yeah, he's alone.
Oh, yeah, he goes all into the deep state.
One thing he wasn't is a person who had friends. Just a lone gunman, man. Just a lone gunman. So now I want to show you what Nancy Pelosi said. And I covered this on my other video, but I just think this is very important. Then I want to show you the Secret Service agents. And again, I.
So let's read what she said. As one whose family has been victim of political violence, which she has, her husband was attacked with a hammer, I know firsthand that political violence of any kind is no place in our society. That sounds like a proper thing to say. I thank God that former President Trump is safe. As we learn more details about this horrifying incident, let us pray that all those in attendance and former president's rally today are unharmed. And I added, the unharmed is a little weird, but I think she meant harmed. And okay, maybe she didn't know about the person who was deceased. And obviously, President Trump was harmed. So unharmed, I think she means, I don't know. That was just weird. Now, I don't necessarily dig Nancy Pelosi. She's not like, somebody that I find. And it's not really for their policy. It's mostly that she doesn't spark me as the type that, hey, be my friend. I'm cool.
We did cover this a little bit in my other video, but I'm going to be a lot meaner in this one. So Nancy Pelosi, after
totally
Trump
different
takes a shot to
things
the head,
about Rumbo.
As one whose family has been the victim of political violence, I know firsthand that political violence of any kind has no place in our society. I'm not even going to read the rest of it, actually, because I don't care what she says after that. Okay, yeah, I don't need to hear anything else.
He cut her off.
If when a president takes a bullet to the ear and almost comes up millimeters from getting killed, and your instinct in your press release is to talk about yourself in a situation where you were not the victim of political violence, giving you the full benefit of the doubt that everything happened exactly as people said, and that we just don't have to, or that we will just ignore the fact that when your husband supposedly got hit with a hammer, you can't see it. It's just conveniently off camera. Everything's there on the badge cam except the actual impact from the hammer hitting his head. Listen, dude, I am cynical. Like we just talked about,
this guy's more than just crazy eyes, by the way.
I have a hard time believing any of it. If I can't see the impact, then I don't believe it. It's like, oh, that's convenient, just right out of line of sight. So whatever. But let's say that that's exactly what happened. Okay, that was a complete and total crazy person, as was established. This guy was like a mentally ill lunatic.
Says the crazy guy
lived in a van in Berkeley. You think that's the same as someone getting onto a rooftop and actually trying to shoot you in the face while you're on stage?
Okay, now that's an interesting question. Let's put yourself, okay, they're both old men, the president of the United States and Pelosi's husband. You're an old man, and you were standing there at a rally, and somebody tried to shoot you in the face, as you said, and instead it hits your ear. You're going to have a moment of pain, and of course, it's going to take a while to heal, so there's going to be pain while it heals, but it will heal. And I'm not trying to say that Nancy Pelosi's husband's wouldn't heal as well, but let's put yourself now in his shoes. Instead of just standing there and taking a bullet, which any meatbag can do, by the way, he had to. The only way this man survived an attack with a hammer was to have fought back, to have fought every
I believe there was
Carte Blanche to keep his life. So I would have to say that interaction is a whole lot more traumatic than just standing there and being a meat bag for a bullet, you know?
That's the same thing. And even if it was the same thing, why are you talking about yourself? Why are you talking about yourself? So, and I should not say that. One thing I'm trying to not do is put thoughts and words into other people's heads or out of their mouths that they did not say. Because
that's why I think
what I think in terms of
it is of public interest.
Are there people who wish that would have gone differently yesterday? Absolutely, I do. I think there were people who were very disappointed that didn't work out the way that they had hoped.
And of course, the giant subscribe button. Anyway, but I would agree with him on, I think that there are people in our society that are sick enough to wish it would have went the other way. Now, you know, I'm not saying I would have been heartbroken if it went the other way, but I don't think that would be good for our society at all. But let's check this guy out with a little bit more woman hate, you know. And what's funny is guys like this, they always do it.
I mean, I like I said, I showed this on our other video on the other channel, but
so this
is
the shocking video that he just can't figure out how to explain without showing you. Yeah, this is where the guy starts going into, oh, poor woman shouldn't have probably had a gun. Oh, well, I would believe that. That I would believe, which is weird. I mean, you know, history is history, and that's the way it should be. I don't think history should be removed because people are sensitive to it, if you know what I mean.
And I just wanted to show you guys this. Look at this.
Yeah, pretty much.
This is who's on his Secret Service detail, okay? This is who is on his Secret Service detail. What are the prerequisites for being a Secret Service agent responsible for protecting the life of a former or current president? Is it that you have to run a mile in under 6.5 minutes, which I could do when I was like 10? Do you think that would be a reasonable thing to require? Yeah, I think it would be.
How much you want to bet this guy's like totally like gacked out on energy drinks?
How about just proficiency in holstering, unholstering, and firing a weapon? How about that? Okay. How about being able to win in a fight against the vast majority of humans on Earth? Does that seem reasonable? All of those things seem reasonable? Okay. Because how about 0 for fucking 3? Okay. This is who is on his Secret Service detail. Watch this. See that? Look at that.
Okay, before this idiot goes on about what he thinks he saw, what I saw was a group of people that were trying to get the president
giving him the benefit of the doubt. 5'7",
and I saw that female officer,
5'3",
which I do think it's strange that he would, you know, pick the female officer to pick on. But I did see the female officer try to get her holster her weapon, and you know, maybe she got bumped while all those people were around, and her holster got moved a couple inches, her belt twisted. Have you ever had your belt move a little bit and you didn't really have your pockets exactly lined? You had to pull it back straight. You know, maybe something, I'm not trying to make an excuse. Maybe something happened to where she couldn't necessarily holster that weapon at that moment. Now, what I saw that was positive, instead of spending all the extra time looking at that holster and trying to figure out how to get her gun into the holster, she looked back up at the crowd. She put her pistol in the proper position so she wasn't going to accidentally discharge into the people that were around her. She then looked up to make sure that the crowd was doing what she expected the crowd to be doing, you know, and then she holstered her weapon. There's nothing really wrong with that. I mean, nothing wrong with it at all. But this guy wants to find a problem with women in law enforcement, or you know, any woman that's in any type of a power position.
Okay, that might seem like a small thing to people who don't really know what they're looking at. If you're not like a person who kind of follows, you know, tactical military training type channels, or doesn't have a lot of kind of like shooting and tactical training, for a person to fumble like that, reholstering their weapon,
right,
shows such an enormous lack of practice that it's kind of unbelievable. And here's the thing: a person can be big and out of shape and slow if they're running, but if they practice muscle memory, they still can be lethal with a firearm. But you want to know how we know that she's not that either? It's because she can't even reholster her gun, dude. Okay, this is someone so unqualified for this role that it's absolutely unreal. I don't need to know a single other thing about her. If someone wants to tell me, oh, well, she's she's actually an expert in, fill in the blank, some other role that doesn't have to do with like quick response and violent, protection or whatever. Okay, well, so how come she's putting him, like, why is she involved in putting him in the car then? Why does she what is she doing there? And you have the Secret Service people. The Secret Service specifically said they want 30% female Secret Service agents. Okay.
I think when it comes down to the second video, we'll probably watch it on Monday.
Aspire to be armed security for important politicians. Okay, like you just blanket all the most athletic women in the world. Okay, let's just go into America, right? And you go to all the top athletes.
The second video has
a lot of would you think that it was a cool job for you to be a Secret Service agent? And again, you strap them to the lie detector.
Is he? Wait. What Charlie Kirk video? Because this was Trump's thing, attempted assassination. I didn't know they. Yeah, I guess they were around each other, Trump and Kirk. I don't know when though. What happened here? Sorry, about had to cough a lung out on that one. Really? Now this guy keeps mentioning a lie detector over and over and over again. You know who mentions a lie detector constantly? A person who is lying. Anyway, so does he really believe that women don't aspire to have powerful jobs like the Secret Service or, NASA? Hello, Dr. Nimrod. What is he trying to imply here? So if this wasn't the job that this woman wanted, what is he trying to imply? That she was forced into this job against her will? That she was tricked into accepting this job? Or maybe this was the job that she really wanted. Yeah, I don't understand how this. Yeah, that would be. That's pretty ironic. These people, I mean, especially the ones with Yoda ears, have such a hard time with women. I don't get it. And he even mentions that in his other videos that he does with his wife, he's much more calm and much more mellow. But on this channel, he's the real him. I wonder if his wife knows that she doesn't receive the real him. As always, you guys are awesome. Remember, you don't have to be wise. Just don't submit to stupid. Thank you very much, and have a good day. Hey, I wonder what song I played at the end of the video. I should probably just let the old song play through. Thanks for showing up, guys. Be good. And as you know, I forgot to pull the video up. And like I said, it is Monday. I'll play the second part where we get a lot more information. Oh, come on. I might do it on Sunday. Then my system wants to say, no, I don't want to do that right now. Just because you want to do it. Oh, wait, by the way, this guy was funny. Before I go, yeah, we'll play him one more time.
A brand new safety device for public people in a situation like this.
Dude, when you start your brilliant idea with the words dude, you should probably keep it to yourself.
It's a large mat that is flexible. It plugs in electric. sucks in a hell of a lot of juice, produces a lot of heat.
Okay, I already see a few problems with this. A large mat, well, that's not very portable. And did you say you plug it into electricity and it produces a lot of heat? Yeah, I have my gimbal.
I'm going to call it the Mirage
I went
device.
to go out with it. That
because
was my
if you were
plan
looking
today.
for a
That's why
Mirage,
I
you wouldn't
was
be able
there.
to hit
Where are we
shit.
going? But it rained
Well, sir, I would
and
call that a
I
public
wasn't
speaker
able to
hot
pick up
pocket.
internet.
You see, due to thermodynamics
Public
and thermal
speaker hot
expansion,
pocket.
it would get extremely hot inside of that pocket. You will have created a victim easy bake oven.
Well, the idea
happens
was
to
to
them.
protect the person it's protecting. Sorry.
Does that say Kura Dumpuck? Maybe that's what it said. Oop, did I say that? Ah.
Penguins.
Things pound their feet down there on the street, things without feet like me. Never see me or what I see, things that amaze me. It fills my dreams when I sleep. A penguin that can fly. A penguin that can fly.
Can fly. Batman's back in town, Penguin.
Just